Here it comes right
I
now.
hate to say it, but quite honestly, you don't really, I mean, I never rely on it. If I got a major question, I can do it.
Which is good.
Because you can't wait till 3 o'clock. I appreciate their effort, but that's why.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our December 6th Des Moines City Council meeting. I will again repeat to many of you who have been here before, but due to the increased community transmission of COVID-19, including the variants that are getting a little scary, we have implemented a face mask covering requirement in all of our city buildings. The requirement applies to both staff and visiting public and includes attendance at our council meetings. If you don't have a mask or a face covering, one will be provided. So we're happy to help out with that. The public is also hereby notified that the City Council will not tolerate disruption of its business meetings. Persons wishing to attend this meeting are reminded of the following. We welcome germane comments from the public at the appropriate time, but this is a council business meeting, and the council needs to conduct the people's business, and the council has rules that are validly adopted under Iowa law, and those will be followed. Anyone engaging in disruptive conduct in the city council chambers or the Great Hall will result in those being disruptive being ordered to leave the building and being denied readmittance for the remainder of the day. No person will be permitted to stand between or on the chairs, and the council members, except the persons addressing the council, at the speaker's microphone only after being recognized. So those are the ones that are permitted. All persons desiring to address the council may do so only when recognized, but the council reserves the right to limit the speaker's time in the order in which the speakers address the council. Under Section 2-70 of the City Code, it is illegal to interrupt any person who is addressing the council except by a council member, and is illegal to disrupt the council meeting. Everyone in attendance has First Amendment rights, and any disruptive conduct by one person or group that impinges on the rights of the others present, so disruptive conduct will not be tolerated. If the meeting is disrupted, the public speaking portion of the meeting may be moved to the next in-person meeting, which is not disrupted, and those who disrupt the meeting will not be called on during the meeting and will be ordered to leave the building and may be cited or arrested for disorderly conduct, trespass, or interfering with the good order of the meeting or other applicable charges. And with that, let's call the meeting to order. And by the way, I had some people say that I was a little muffled the last time when I spoke with my mask on the time, so I will be taking it off when I speak this evening, but otherwise I will wear it so that the people that are listening on the air can hear, and hopefully those in the audience here can as well. So let's call the meeting to order, and I'll ask clerk to please take roll.
County.
Here.
Boson.
Here.
Boss.
Here.
Gray.
Here.
Westergaard. Here. Mandelbaum. Here. Gatto.
Here.
Your Honor, we have a quorum.
All right. Item 2 is approving the agenda as presented and or as amended. I will quickly say that the consent agenda items, item 17 is corrected with a term that was corrected. 19 also, term was corrected. 25I was added. Councilmember Voss, board reappointment to the Urban Design Review Board. And 35I was added, set in date of hearing, a site plan appeal by Genesis 1111 Army Post Road. Regular agenda item 60 was corrected. Chapter 74 ordinances is in full with, there was apparently a page missing, which is now corrected, and 62 was corrected. Chapter 114, there was a piece of it that was unreadable page, and it was rescanned and then relinked. So with that, Could we have a motion
I'll
to
move
approve the
approval.
agenda?
I'll move approval.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? The item passes. Item 3 is approving the consent agenda. These are routine items and will be enacted by one roll call vote without separate discussion unless someone, council member or a public requires majority vote of the council, but requests an item be removed to be considered separately. Tonight, item 4Y, Councilmember Gatto is going to abstain. Item 5, I vote no. Item 7C, Gray wishes to speak. Item 18, Westergaard is going to abstain. And item 35I, Councilmember Gatto wishes to speak. Madam Clerk, were there any other items that anybody requested?
Your Honor, Taylor Weber requested 35I, 44, and 49B. Adam Callanan and Taylor Weber requested 45. That was all.
Okay, so 35I, 44,
49B
49B,
and 45.
and 45?
Yes.
Okay. Council members, we have those that the council, the two that 7C and 35I that council members wish to speak. Does anybody want to consider removing 44, 49B, or 45?
Say that for me again, Mayor. 44?
Or 35I, which Councilmember Gatto is going to speak.
So it's 44, 45, and 49B.
49.
All right, could we get a motion?
I'll move, I'll move item 3. With the other items that we've got there that we're going to speak upon.
Council members are going to speak on?
Yes.
All right, and on 35I, are we going to let the public speak on that as well?
Well, they
It's on
can,
it.
they can speak on the hearing item coming up on the 20th.
Okay, so this is essentially setting
the
date of hearing.
So
Okay.
I would say no.
All right. We'd ask everybody to vote, please.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right, we're going to come back to those items after the hearings. We'll move directly to the hearings. Hearings tonight start at item 51. Usually on these, on the hearing items, we have a lot of different directions, like for zoning items, but tonight there's no zoning items. So we're going to dispense with going through all that. But with item 51, that's being dismissed at the request of the applicant. And we also have several public improvement hearings. For all of the hearings this evening, any interested person may make germane comments at not to exceed 1 minute per person to a maximum of 5 minutes per hearing unless the hearing is ended sooner for failure to make germane public comments or when comments cease. As a reminder, on the public improvement hearings, only comments as to the plans, specifications, form of documents, and the engineer's estimate and low bidder designation will be considered germane. All other comments will be considered non-germane unless the hearing is ended sooner for failure to make germane public comments. For the no public comment will be had at this meeting as the items will be discussed in their entirety. So, or dismissed, yeah. All right, and then we've got a few directions before the public speaking items. So let's go ahead and get started. Item 51. Item 51 is dismissing the hearing on the request of JAPA, Joe Stevens is the officer, to amend Plan DSM, creating our tomorrow future land use designation of the property located at 1661 County Line Road from Business Park to neighborhood mixed and medium-density residential to allow rezoning to RX1 mixed-use district and NX2 neighborhood mixed district to allow the redevelopment of the property as a Joppa Village for 50 units of household living, use, and professional office as a transitional housing community. The property is currently owned by the Des Moines Metro Waste Reclamation Authority, City of Des Moines. This item was continued from the August 23rd, 2021 meeting. Again, this is a dismissal. Comment, anybody on council?
No, I mean, I think we continue to be open to working with the folks at Joppa. I think there are a number of us who've asked some questions, and we'll continue to engage with them and ask questions and work towards finding as many solutions as possible to our houseless issues in this community. But we didn't have answers at this point, and so they chose to withdraw this particular item. So I'll move item 51.
Okay. We'll ask does anybody have any comments? Step up.
I thought we weren't doing comments for dismissing.
No comments on these on dismissals?
Yeah, that's what you're noting.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're not, these are just being dismissed, and
You've been dismissing this problem for months now, and now you're just moving this item and not talking about the reality of what's going on. I just have some genuine questions about what concrete steps are we going to take
okay.
to fill this void, then we can put it off and solve it.
Let's meet with you separate on that then, because I'd like to have your list of questions. I appreciate your comments, but that's, we're not taking any particular comments on the dismissal, which is requested by the owner. Okay, voting's in progress.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Item 52 also is a dismissal. It's dismissing the hearing on the vacation of excess city right-of-way located north of and adjoining 1661 County Line Road and a conveyance to Joppa for $30,000. This item, again, was continued from August 23rd. Council?
I'll move item 52.
Okay, item 52 has been moved. Again, this is dismissal. Ask everyone to vote. Carl?
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Item 53 is on the proposed Douglas Avenue urban renewal area, receiving and filing the determination of the Des Moines Planning and Zoning Commission in adopting the urban renewal plan. Council Communication number 21-531A is a resolution of necessity for the Douglas Avenue urban renewal area. We'll open this up and see if anybody has any germane comments from the general public. Again, 1 minute. Got a couple of individuals here. Thank you. You'd give us your name and your
Address.
zip code and ward.
Okay. So my name is Felicia Hilton. I'm the Political Director, Government Affairs Director for the North Central States Regional Council of Carpenters. I live at 815 Euclid Avenue. We're not here to oppose the urban renewal design plan. We just believe that this is a great opportunity for the city of Des Moines to invest in workforce development through the trades. And we'd like to make sure that whatever happens on the project as far as TIF that the only focus isn't just on the businesses, but the actual craftsmen and women that are going to perform the work on the projects, especially where it's the vacant bowling alley. So we'd like to continue conversation with City Council about how do we make sure that this project creates real payroll so that folks that are working on construction sites aren't being unpaid and exploited while they're building projects either with tax incentive or city dollars. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Felicia.
But to that point, Mr. Mayor,
Okay?
I mean, I think we've had some discussions, at least among council. I'd like us to see a policy where we move towards certified payroll as a condition of all future TIF-related projects, so that that becomes a standard term. I think Councilmember Westergaard's sent some emails about that, and I know I've talked with others, but I think there's likely support on the council for something like that, and I'd like to get that formalized so that particularly for this urban renewal district, but others as well, as new projects come forward, that's a standard part of all projects.
Let's refer that to the manager and appropriate other departments to get us a recommendation in language. Go ahead.
So we would do that, for all TIF projects going forward.
Right.
Any development agreement.
Regardless of dollar amount, right?
Yeah, regardless of dollar amount, we would do that for all development agreements going forward.
And I did, Joe, I did send out to everybody, Omaha has an ordinance that includes that, and I have that verbiage here, and I have the entire ordinance, and I did send it on to Scott and to others.
Might want to send it to Jeff.
I think I did, yeah.
We have an opinion that will be coming to council.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, council members. Marcus Kanan, Beaverdale Neighborhood Association President. I just wanted to stop by and say thank you so much for getting this underway. This is going to be great for the Douglas Avenue corridor. One item that I would like to bring to your attention is the intersection of 38th Street and Douglas Avenue. It's in the Douglas corridor plan. It's recognized as one of the entrances to Beaverdale. And I would just like to have additional conversations about adding that into this urban renewal area at an appropriate time in the future, so that we can make sure that as incentives go into the redevelopment of this corridor and design and implementation of the corridor plan gets underway, that intersection is not lost in the overall project. So thank you. I support this. Great work.
Hello, my name is Mark Smith, and I also am a representative of the North Central States Regional Council of Carpenters. I, along with Felicia, help represent a little over 1,000 blue-collar working members that perform work and live in not only this one piece here with this urban renewal that we're talking about here, but all over the city. And my comment is to commend you and thank you very much for the consideration of adopting such language when it comes to the verified payroll and other pieces that may go along with that. This has been a long time coming, and this is really going to help shore up the practices of construction and, again, those blue-collar type people that are doing these projects, and make businesses perform in that forthcoming manner where they are truly employing true employees and true craftspeople that are out there building these projects, not storefront contractors with scrupulous business practices when it comes to the folks performing the work. So again, thank you.
Indira Shoemaker, I am a city council person-elect for Ward 1. I want to thank the Carpenters for being here and speaking and everything that you said. I had some questions answered about this project earlier, but I did just want to ask, I didn't get a question answered about the neighborhood association meetings and kind of what the response was in those meetings. So I did want to get that question answered, but also I just wanted to say on record that we need to be making sure that the businesses in this area, almost every single business in this urban renewal area, is South Asian owned and operated, African business, Hispanic business, just make sure that we are working in the future to make sure that those businesses are protected, that their businesses don't go under because we're developing in this area, and make sure that they have priority in any new development that is put in this area. But yeah, I would like a question answered about the reception from the neighborhood associations.
Do you want to have a staffer do that now, or get with her?
I'm familiar with that request, so I can make sure that answer is given.
Okay.
Taylor Weber, Ward 3. I think echoing a lot of what Indira said, we need to make sure that we're not working to gentrify the area. I know there's some language in this as well, and I know there are state-defined terms like slum and blighted that can kind of bring a negative connotation on an area. I think when you're talking about individuals who are lucky enough to own property and driving property value down because of that connotation that might come along with it, and other tertiary things that maybe aren't in our purview for fixing the neighborhood that might kind of be causes and effects of what we're doing. I think, unfortunately, the council's shown as of late, and we're even going to vote on some things later tonight, that we haven't been using TIF money to really truly help the city. It's been more so for developers, construction companies, and larger corporations and businesses when we have been giving that TIF money. And so because of that, I really encourage us to make sure we're using things. This one slaps, so wait for that. So, can I get some like?
Yeah,
20
give you another 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I really encourage, not only if we're going to be adopting language to make sure we're having a level of pay for corporations, making sure we're looking at accessibility, making sure that the BIPOC community is represented, and making sure that we're taking care of our people, and making sure that we don't hurt businesses that already exist there. Instead, we're uplifting them.
All right. Do we have a motion? Yes.
I just wanted to bring up on the extension, I know the issue of up on 38th, that we look at that going forward. I know not in this agreement, but I think it's important not to have these cutoffs. Sometimes that I think we have to keep going forward and use other tools to make sure the whole corridor is good. As far as the businesses that are existing there, I think we need to look at incentives and things for the small businesses, and how if we are redeveloping or if somebody is redeveloping, how we make sure that they can still stay within their neighborhood, and look at some incentive in some way when we redevelop. So just going forward, I think that there needs to be the ongoing discussion within all of our hub areas, or I call the arterial roads. The development, I know that the economic development people are working on, covering different parts of the city such as the Douglas Avenue, or whether it be Hubble, or whether it be Southeast 14th or something, to take the strategies of how we develop and really encourage rebuilding and reorganization and getting new businesses into those corridors. So,
Just for the record, we don't have that tool yet on Southeast 14th.
well, that's what I'm saying, that we need to develop it throughout this whole city, so.
Hopefully that will come in the near future, I hope.
Right. So I think it's important that that's the strategy I think they're going forward with. I think will help every area of the city.
Do we have a motion?
Mayor, we started this process back in 2016, and I think, Scott, you were in one of the initial meetings. We started at the Deborah Heights Wesleyan Church with about 3 people, and it built and built and built and got a real momentum going. Brian O'Leary is the one that did all the heavy lifting on this, and he's done a fantastic job of keeping this process going forward. I think the game plan we've been looking at has always been to continue it further west, and then also continue it further east to take in Ward 2. But we had to take a bite somewhere, get a start in here. And with the loss of Plaza Lanes, we have a very real danger of that whole area just kind of sliding back into almost nowhere land. So I think this is a great step forward. I've been a part of this process the entire time, so I'm going to move 53 and 53A.
And I would just like to add, good job, Bill. You worked hard for your ward. Thank you.
Do we need to, a second, third?
We don't need a second and third. No, just an order. Yeah.
Just double checking.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Item 54 is accepting a revised development proposal from Des Moines Climate Controlled Self-Storage LLC. Mark Bodenstedt is the owner, to develop city-owned property in the vicinity of 503 Southeast 12th Street in the Metro Center urban renewal area, and accepting the conceptual development plan for the project. Council Communication number 21-527. Again, council, any comments? Any thoughts here?
Mayor, I understand the problem that has arisen with this project, with the soil. I think that's why we've gone back and revisited it. And as you go through the blue letter and you look at the estimated tax, yes, the estimated tax without this project for a total of 10 years is $66,000. The estimated tax with the project is $3.7 million. So I'm glad that that the net taxes received will be 2.5. That's a heck of a lot better in my book. It's simple math of 66,000 or 2.5 million. So I'm happy to move this project forward. I understand with the soil, when you're ready to build something and you go out and you do borings and you realize that you're dealing with not very good soil, the cost goes up tremendously. And so I will move item 54.
All right. With that motion, I'll ask, does anybody have any comments on this? Step up.
Taylor Weber, Ward 3 again. I appreciate the, trying to get tax money off the city land that we own today, and seeing develop's great. I guess the issue I have with this is we just said in the last item that we talked about how we want to make improvements to the TIF process. And I think here is an example of how is this benefiting the people of Des Moines to make sure that we are using up to $1.2 million in TIF funding, if I understand correctly, and allocating that effectively, opposed to what else or how better could that be used to better enrich our city.
Mayor, if I could
Scott, I'll let you explain how TIF works.
No,
Okay.
I get TIF. I appreciate it, though.
Okay, let's have the city manager make a quick comment on that.
Yeah.
It might be easiest for me to catch you afterwards, too, on how TIF works, but
No, like I said, I get how TIF works. I guess my concern is, do we need to be using and allocating this money for another storage unit business in town?
okay. That's a different.
Right, like I get the idea of what TIF is and how that money is generated,
All right.
and how we allocate it.
Got it. Anybody else?
No response, so.
You get how TIF works. Thank you.
Wasn't asking how it works.
Joe?
I moved it, Your Honor, unless we have
Vote.
other public comment.
You need to vote. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, thank you. I was just wondering how TIF works.
So if you wouldn't mind, I'll catch you afterwards. There's an incredibly long explanation to that. And I can
For the public education, explaining a little bit of the process.
So I would reference our website that has a descriptions of TIF and actual council discussions and workshops on the topic. That would be the best place to start. But then I can make myself available, or the finance director, to explain further.
Thank you.
But I would just clarify, a simple answer is, there is no TIF if there is no project. So we get a base tax, and if there is no project, they're basically paying all the taxes in, and we're refunding a portion of their tax back. But without a project, there is no money to refund back or to help build whatever we're going to build. That's kind of a simple answer of explanation of how TIF works, I would say.
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Your Honor, that vote was 7-0, and it carried.
Item 55, on the proposition to authorize a lease in the principal amount of not to exceed $130,000 for the purpose of acquiring certain items of equipment for winter snow removal, consisting of 3 motor graders, and 1 bulldozer. Germane comments, again, we're going to ask, but quickly ask council, any comments here? All right, anybody need to comment on equipment for snow removal?
Hi, my name is Luke Bascom. I live in Ward 1. Yeah, I just wanted to quickly, on this note, I know we're like heading into the most treacherous season weather-wise, and that affects our public transit users here in Des Moines. This looks like, you know, one step of taking that challenge seriously, but I'm hoping that you all are thinking through how you're going to make sure that this year folks using our public transit system are able to access it with snow blocking those sites often that folks are trying to use to board their buses. So yeah, just hoping that you all are actively working on making that more accessible this year. I know last year a lot of the public had to take matters into their own hands and go out and remove snow on bus stops. So I'm hoping that there's communication with DART and other city departments to make sure that's not an issue this time around. Thanks.
I'll move 55.
Can I just clarify, maybe Scott, you can give an answer. What is our policy for removing snow from however many bus stops we have? Who's responsible? Are we responsible? Who is going to be doing that? Because we've been dealing this for a while, and we need to get some type of solution.
Yeah, and I'm going to look over to Jeff, make sure I get this correct, but the private property owners adjacent to those stops are typically the ones responsible for that.
Well,
And we're making arrangements with DART for other.
So one of the things is DART is responsible for clearing the stops when they have a shelter. And we have a long-term plan with DART to add additional shelters, particularly in the high-volume, high-usage stops, which will address some of the issue. Other member communities in DART are looking at stops that may not have shelters where there might not be a sidewalk pad that is cleared, thinking about incorporating that into their capital improvement budget over time. I think that's something that we should be doing as part of our sidewalk program over time, is looking at some of those stops and seeing where it makes sense to add pads. But I don't know that it's going to necessarily make sense at all stops, but particularly when we know that there are issues or users that have a need there, we should be prioritizing that type of solution.
And I would just add that I've had multiple conversations with Elizabeth from DART, because there are many stops where the grass is overgrown, it doesn't get mowed, it doesn't get shoveled in the winter, and it's been made very clear, it is the property owner's responsibility to clear those as it is right now.
I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
So we're all on the same page, and we all know what we're asking and
Yep.
where we're at with that.
Thank you. My name is Adam, 50309 Ward 3. I appreciate this is a complicated problem with the private business owners being like somewhat responsible for it. But when the stops aren't cleared, the stops aren't cleared. It doesn't really matter like whose fault it is. And we know that last year the city had a surplus of money for snow removal. So I'd encourage the city to still look at ways to proactively solve things, because if business owners can't do it, for instance, maybe you clear it and you charge the business owners for what you paid to clear it or something. There's solutions here, and just pointing at the business owners and saying it's their fault doesn't do anything to help residents unless you're doing something else as well. And again, I would like to uplift what was said earlier, and again, point back to that surplus. We know that last year we had money for snow removal that we didn't spend. This year we should be looking at making sure we're spending what we can to actually provide things rather than just letting that money sit and not be used.
Yes, sir. Brad Weisenmeyer, I live in Ward 3. Just echoing both Adam and Luke's comments. Yeah, I also have pulled up here some tweets from DART Yeah, Linda, I believe you are the one who spoke about how it is the property owner's responsibility. That's what DART is saying as well. But the fact remains that there are over 1,700 stops in the city. It becomes a public safety issue when people are standing on the roads or going over treacherous ice patches to get to the stops. So yeah, just want to reemphasize the point that this really needs to be taken care of. Doesn't matter whose fault it is. It's an issue. Thanks.
Dear Shoemaker, again, I wanted to add on, just I know that it's responsibility of DART to like pave their bus stops, to put in shelters and things like that, not the cities. It's responsibility of property owners to clear snow, but in an area where there is not a paved bus stop, property owners are not clearing the snow, and we found when we were clearing bus stops last winter as well, that a lot of times there's a huge stretch of sidewalk that needs to be cleared as well to get to access that area. You need to clear like the entrances to the street as well. And what DART also said in their tweet was that if a bus stop is not cleared, somebody who has accessibility issues should just go to the next cleared area and wave down their bus. And we know that that's not a safe thing to do, to tell someone to stand on a street, or even their mobility devices are not always going to be able to access those areas, wave down their bus. And we also know that the bus is not necessarily going to stop if you're not at a bus stop. So just want to acknowledge that this is an issue that we need to be working on with DART and with our partners in figuring out a solution for this, because it is an accessibility issue. We need to be addressing, the people who need like the most help first, and that's going to bring help to everybody else in this situation, versus asking people to, come in their own way and find a way to access these stops that are not accessible. Thank you.
All right. We have a motion?
I made a motion.
Yep.
We've got Jonathan here by the door.
Yeah. He would step up if he wanted to do it. I know that you're watching him closely. Thank you.
Just for the record, Jonathan, if we have surplus left over, that is used for street maintenance, correct? Okay.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Item 56, these are items regarding the Coles Drive entrance improvements at the Des Moines International Airport. A is a hearing on the Fourth Amendment to the Real Estate Lease and Asset Transfer Agreement with the Des Moines Airport Authority to exclude excess property adjoining Fleur Drive north of Porter Avenue, and to include property adjoining Fleur Drive between Highview Drive and South Lawn Drive, and property located at 4459 Park Lawn Drive. B is approving the completion and acceptance of Fleur Drive turn lane at Coles Drive. The airport improvements set forth in and constructed pursuant to said private construction contract, the intersection of Fleur Drive and Coles Drive Airport enhancement exit roadway between Riley Construction, Inc. and Des Moines Airport Authority. C is dedicating additional Fleur Drive right-of-way for the Fleur Drive turn lane at Coles Drive. Do you want us to vote on these as one? Is that okay?
They can be voted on all together, but the hearing is really only on item A.
Okay. All right. Anybody want to make any comments regarding this airport work?
The only comment that I have to make is, be prepared this week, there's new public art piece that will be installed at the airport entrance, and it's totally paid for by private funding, and it'll be a beautiful addition to our city. I just had to get that plug in for the public art.
All right. Anyone want to make any comments regarding this?
Mr. Mayor, I'll move items 56, A, B, and C.
All right.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Item 57 is on an appeal by Menard, Inc. of the denial of Type 2 design alternative for a site plan for property located at 6,000 Southeast 14th Street. Choose alternative A, which is deny the proposed Type 2 design alternative, or alternative B, which is approve the proposed Type 2 design alternative. germane comments from the general public, again, we'll ask, but ask first if council members have any comments on this.
I'll wait to have, I mean, we've talked about this multiple times with existing buildings. I'm hoping that we come up with some type of solution that's workable for new construction and existing buildings. If Menards had to do this, this would completely shut them down. And, you know, we've talked a lot about TIF. We've talked a lot about economic incentives tonight. And in this corridor, we have none. And so I'll listen to public comments. My motion will be to move alternative B. And they are doing 24 out of the 77 islands. They are doing 18% of the 30% tree canopy in this particular project. But I will move alternative B, but I'm sure there'll be some public comment.
All right.
I just wanted to clarify if there were plans to add the additional islands and trees later down the line or not. And I also just wanted to know if this is still in line with ADA regulations to not have the additional islands.
Well, I think it meets all ADA requirements. For sure. They're adding 24 out of the 77 islands during this construction stage. And as they do that, they'll put 18% of the 30% tree canopy as they do their construction.
So is it just that like our standards are above the ADA standards when we ask for the islands in like the whole entire parking lot? Okay, all right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good evening, Nick Brenner with Menards, 5101 Menard Drive. I appreciate you having me here tonight. This is the last step in a long process. Been working on this for about 2 years. I've been in front of you guys virtually before, doing different things for this, and we're excited to get moving on this project. We are a little bummed that we had to go through this route just because we delayed the expansion for 1 more year. But every area of the parking lot we are touching, we are complying with, the code. We're planting over 50 trees along the perimeter of the site. I even said at the Planning and Zoning Commission, we'll plant the trees on the entrance coming up, provided we can, excuse these last landscape islands. Parking lot's in great shape. We don't want to tear it up yet to put all these extra landscape islands in. From my understanding is we're even subject to this because we did a remodel 10 years ago. That remodel plus this one got us to 50%. This remodel on its own is less than 10% of the value of that building. So just this project alone wouldn't meet that, but because we added so much to it 10 years ago, that's why we're here again having to do this. So we're just asking to help get this remodel through and waive the rest of these islands, and we can proceed next spring.
Is that when you did the parking lot? Was the parking lot redone 10 years ago?
No, that was when we added the garden center. So the area on the north side of the building, we added the warehouse. We added a big chunk onto the building. So that was the vast majority of that. This one here, we're just doing the warehouse and moving the gate out into the parking lot.
The original parking lot was put in when you took over that building, when you
Yeah,
built
yeah, it
which
was
has
the old,
been-
the old drive-in movie theater.
Right.
Yep, and we put in the parking lot and everything was original when the store was constructed.
And how
20 years
many
ago?
years has that been?
I think about 20 years.
Yeah, at least.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Taylor Weber, Ward 3. Yeah, I think my side of town, I like Menards. I'm stoked it's getting these updates. I guess one of my concerns is this seems like it's a continued problem where we continuously are asking for these types of exceptions for these type of updates that are happening. And so we're talking about one for next meeting as well. Genesis is going to go through the same thing and have the same sort of discussion. I would like to see more tree coverage. I would like to see us follow the standards we've set. We set them for a reason. Part of being part of this community is contributing those things, but it is unfortunate that we have to keep going through these sort of exception processes because what it proves is that you have to have money for navigating this process. Be companies like Menards, corporations that can navigate our tricky process to get their project done, where it's things like community fridges and other assets to the community that are violating zone issues as well, which that's what this is a code violation that we're exemptioning, but we're not working with community resources that aren't a hardware store or a health club that you'll be voting on next meeting. So
I encourage you to actually address.
Yep. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Carol Maher. I live in Ward 3, zip code 50312. I typically attend the plan and zoning meetings, and this issue comes up a lot, especially for legacy parking lots. I think it's a mistake to not address the heat island issue and the stormwater runoff by adding the required islands. It also beautifies the area, and I know Councilmember Gatto, you're very interested in beautifying this area, but every time you don't go along with, you want to override the Plan and Zoning Commission on what they require, you're degrading sort of the south side and the beauty and the stormwater runoff issues that exist. So I would encourage you to think about all the cement and concrete expanse that exists around this and the opportunity to make that less harmful to the city and the planet.
If I may, Your Honor, and I have concern about eroding our standards on examples like this too. There are multiple benefits to these standards. There are environmental benefits. There are stormwater benefits. There is, as the public noted, there are the beautification benefits. When you talk about tools to improve corridors, these standards are one of those tools, and eroding those tools on an ad hoc basis I find problematic. There might be instances where we're taking a step back is appropriate, and we can evaluate those on a case-by-case basis. That is what this design alternative and appeal process is designed to do. I have not seen anything in this particular instance that would allow me to support that exception. So if you move on the second item, I will plan on voting against approval of the type 2 design alternative, consistent with what our Planning and Zoning Commission did unanimously and consistent with what our staff has recommended.
We already put the motion up. You get the vote. Already up.
I will just say that I was on Plan and Zone when we set that standard, and a number of years ago. And we obviously thought at the time that we wanted to do it with a lot of our own property. And when opportunity came, we would lead by example. And I believe that we've tried to do so, and I still believe in the concept, and I also will vote no.
We can't hear.
Did you hear me? It was 5 yes, 2 no. Motion carries.
Item 58, it's on the Ashworth Pool and Northwest Pool painting improvements. Resolution approving the plans, specifications, form of contract documents, engineer's estimate, receive and file bids, and designating the lowest responsible bidder as AIA or A1A Sandblasting Iowa. Michael Murjama is the owner. $171,100. Council Communication Number 21-509. A is approval of the contract and bond. Again, this is a general public may file objections to the plans, specifications, form of documents, and engineer's estimate or the low bidder designation, and those will be the only comments that are going to be considered germane in this.
Mr. Mayor, before you go on, can we go back, when this is over, and go back and talk about item 57? Is that possible, or is it too late? For the Menards?
You'd have to make a motion to reconsider that item.
Okay.
It's already passed. You can, we've got an item now that's
Okay, we'll do that, and
open.
then I'll make a motion to reconsider. I just want to have an opportunity to add some comments.
Okay. Anybody need to make comment on this? If not, could we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, that's Northwest Pool could use a little touching up, so I'm going to move item 58A. 58.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
And now, Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion to reopen item 57, to reconsider item 57 for additional comments.
All right, we have a motion to reopen item 57 for additional comment. Want a voice vote, or?
You have to vote.
Okay. Okay, it's 7-0. Item is reopened. Back to item 57.
Thank you.
Councilmember Westergaard.
And I didn't add any comments the first time because we've been working on this for so long that I'm surprised that it didn't pass. And it's,
It did pass.
It passed.
It only needs a simple majority.
it only needed a simple majority.
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm still going to add my comments. I'm glad that it passed then because it means jobs. It means jobs for the people that are out there making these improvements. I certainly understand the whole environmental thing, but I'll tell you, it's much better to have something there than to have a vacant, blighted building. You know, I can, so, but
Your comments are not germane, so please.
I apologize. I thought it had to have the majority. Okay.
All right?
Then,
I'll move item 57.
Thank you.
Alternative B.
I think she just opened for comment. I
Yes, that's
don't know
it.
that we need to.
I think we need to vote again, don't we?
Okay.
I will move item 57, alternative B.
Linda?
Your Honor, that's 5-2, motion passes.
Item 59, on Evergreen Avenue rehabilitation from Marion Street to Southeast 30th Court, resolution approving the plan specifications, form of contract documents, engineer's estimate, receive and file bids, and designating the lowest responsible bidder as Grimes Asphalt and Paving Corporation. Timothy Malakote is the president. $427,660.75. Council Communication Number 21-510. A is approval of the contract and the bond and permission to sublet. All right, any comments from council?
Your Honor, I'll move item 59 and 59A. This
All
is
right.
a much-needed improvement to this area.
All right, we'll open to anybody from the general public want to make a comment on this. Seeing none, item's been moved. Joe?
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right, that takes us back to item 7C. These are public improvements. Item 7C is some work on Closes Creek, storm sewer improvements, Phase 3, receiving of bids, 12/21 of '21, setting the date of hearing of 1/24 of '22. The engineer's estimate is $9 million. Council Communication Number 21-512. Councilmember Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. This is Phase 3 of the project. Few of us, Connie, Mayor, how this all started was the flood of 2018, and we got an earful. And this is showing that we do listen, we make commitments, and we follow through on them. You know, we put $7 million into 47th and Holcomb. We put $7 million on that Macokota Drain project. Right now, we got $2.2 million on the retention basin over there in 41st and College. And if you drive down Beaver and 34th Street, you'll see the work that we're doing for widening the culvert under Beaver Avenue on both sides, taking that drain that's coming from Macokota. We're doing the things that we promised to do with the lost sales tax money that we promised. It's a good thing that we are seeing these progress, and we put the signs up to let people know that this is your tax dollars at work, and this is a good thing to keep people wanting to live in Ward 1 and bring people in, because you don't have to worry about their belongings being washed down the road because of inadequate sewer treatment. So I'm really happy to make this. It's going to be, the buzz is on Franklin Avenue right now. People are already making plans to improve their properties and take advantage of the things that the reconstruction of the Franklin and 48th is going to bring. So I'm going to be very happy to move item 7C.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right, takes us to item 35I, setting date of hearing. This one is on the appeal of Genesis Health Club Sports Complex Southeast LLC of the denial of Type 2 design alternatives for a site plan for property located at 1111 East Army Post Road. This item, which will be discussed at, I would believe, setting the date of hearing. I don't see a hearing date on there.
12/20.
So, Councilmember Gatto.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Scott, I'd like to direct you, as part of this hearing item, direct staff to part of the agreement with Genesis Health Club, and it's not going to be just a health club. It's going to be a catalyst for the South Side. It's going to be 5 courts where tournament ball is going to be played, basketball, volleyball. And with that, the applicant is willing to give, right now, $250,000 for underserved kids to be able to use this facility, be part of using this to get kids involved in sports. And as we waive this, the next time, he has agreed to do another $125,000 for a total of $375,000 will be part of the development agreement for this facility as part of the Type 2 waiving of some of the landscaping requirements. So I'd just like you to direct that and have that ready to go for this particular hearing item on the 20th.
Mayor and council, yes, we can provide that change. For clarification, though, there's a schedule of multi-year commitments that this developer has made to youth programming, and so we will bring back on the 20th an amendment that adds $125,000 to it. But it is actually
It's in addition to the 250.
Actually, the original number is even bigger than 250.
Right.
So that whole schedule will be adjusted by $125,000.
Yes, it's a total of $375,000.
Actually, it's more than that.
Okay.
And so, but the key here is $125,000 being added.
Okay.
How much is the original?
I would have to provide that. I don't have it off the top of my head. It's quite a bit more.
I think the total.
I mean, is the original on an annual basis?
It's scheduled to do it annually over a period of years.
Yes.
So it's not just one time that we're just going to use it.
We're not adding 250. It wasn't 250 on an annual basis, and we're adding 125 over like 10 years.
No.
The 125 would be added over the first 4 years. And that's already been discussed with the developers potential.
So we'll have that all laid out.
Finalize that by the 20th.
Okay.
My apologies for not clarifying that.
It'll be part of the agreement. The 250 was not just the first year that everybody gets. I think it starts off with 50,000 to be able to be able
And then
to get kids
it
involved,
goes
and then
up
it
higher.
ramps up higher each year.
Okay.
So I will move 35I with that included in there.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
This takes us to item 60. These are ordinances, first consideration. Amending Chapter 74 of the Municipal Code relating to the Parks and Recreation Board and Parks and Recreation Department and Director regulating conduct for use of parks and recreation facilities, fees for rental and use of parks and recreational facilities and programs and mobile food vendors. Council Communication Number 21-530. A is a final consideration of the ordinance above. The waivers requested by Ben Page, our Parks and Recreation Director. It requires 6 votes. Council, any motion or comment?
If there aren't any, Mayor County, I'd like to move 60 and 60A.
All right, it's been moved.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Item 61 is amending Chapter 114 of the Municipal Code regarding traffic regulation, changes as follows. Council Communication Number 21-517. A is the parking restriction, Dean Avenue at East 24th Street, and B is park modification accessible parking space on East 25th Street between Capitol Avenue and East Grand Avenue. Council, any comment on this?
Your Honor, I'll move 61A, B, and pursuant to Rule 42A, we will waive the second and third reading on this. I had it up here, but, oh, here it is. 42A.
Joe?
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Item 62 is amending Chapter 114 of the Municipal Code to facilitate the use of multi-space parking meters. Council Communication Number 21-518.
Tell them how hard we've been working.
Mr. Mayor, I'm happy to move item 62. This is part of a whole process to improve our parking downtown, and this is some code changes that go along with that process, and look forward to seeing that implemented. I think our residents will benefit, and it'll provide a lot of opportunity to improve how we provide that particular service.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Item 63 is amending Sections 2-1176 and 2-1177 relating to the creation, composition, appointment, and powers and duties of the Youth Advisory Board. Council Communication Number 21-537. Council, any comments?
I'll move 63.
All right. Looking forward to working with the Youth Advisory Board.
Definitely a step in the right direction. I'm glad that we had a lengthy workshop and discussion about it.
Yep.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Item 64 is an exception to the procurement ordinance competitive procurement requirements for good cause and approving an agreement with Broadlawns Medical Center for mobile crisis mental health response team services and the crisis advocacy response effort program. Council Communication Number 21-535. I want to commend everybody for working on this. We've been working on this for going on 5 years now, and I'm proud, Mr. Manager, that we have come to this point.
I'll move item 64.
Yeah.
I just wanted to comment too. I want to thank everybody that's been involved because I think this is something that we can only keep expanding upon to really give the services and help people instead of putting them into the police system or the incarceration system. So I look forward for more avenues to do more work in this, and I applaud Broadlawns and all the work, everybody and Polk County who's helped put this together.
Connie, I would echo those comments. I think a lot of us ask the same question of how do we expand it? What's the cost of it? We got these answers really late, and there really wasn't a clear-cut answer of, my question was, how do you do it 365 days a year, instead of just 40 hours a week? And I didn't see a clear-cut answer with that, but I would be interested to see as we go forward how this is expanded and work with other partners in our community to make sure that we can provide this service 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, because I think it's important. Mental illness it's a crisis that we need to, the jail is not, I just feel like we're just putting everyone in jail. And that's not where folks need to go. So I would be interested. We'll see how this goes, but I would look to you as a budgeting item to work on this, to expand it, and as we can use this as a pilot program, I guess.
Well, this is already, I was going to say, there is already expansion.
I know.
But this, to have them in the crisis center, yeah.
Right.
The calls coming in.
Yes.
That's where we need it.
Mayor, if I
And Mayor
could
Connie,
clarify.
And Scott, do we know when the staffing will be ramped up and we're ready to roll? Is there a timetable?
Actually, I'll look back to Captain. Do you have a second to come forward and actually answer that question? Because I think we've got Captain Ness here to. Because I understand that Broadlawns, as he coming up, to be clear, the Crisis Mobile will have additional staffing to be 24/7.
Right.
It is the new program for which there's a clinician in the 911 dispatch that is being started with 40 hours a week. And we will look into the budget
Yeah,
that
that
would
one.
it would take to.
Well, we need to.
That's exactly right. Dave Ness, Police Department, appreciate your questions. I wish we had firm answers, but it's been more challenging than Broadlawns had hoped. So we would have liked to have had it rolled out already. It's taken longer than anticipated. One of the people we brought on for additional mobile crisis wasn't exactly what they were used to in a clinic setting. We anticipated this, but it's been a tremendously successful program for over a decade, an award-winning program in the mobile crisis. This is a natural evolution, natural expansion, and we embrace and look forward to continuing that. Broadlawns was a little leery in putting dates in, though, into the agreement because they're struggling to find the staffing.
Yeah, I talked to Steve Johnson last week, and it was an issue of finding the people, and I think they're even looking at increasing and trying to make it more attractive to get more people involved.
Increasing the pay, is that what you're saying, or?
One of the pieces of this, and a new piece, right, is that we are adding a clinician to our dispatch to help identify calls that can be responded to with a mental health worker the first time. And that is a new piece of this, and that's what those 3 care FTEs would be doing. My hope is that we can start tracking the data from dispatch and identifying, because I think that would make the case to help us make the case and justify budget expenditures on expanding the program quicker. When we can see how many calls there are that, because we don't have the staffing, we still have to respond to through our normal system, or through the system that currently exists, rather than with mental health workers. I think in other communities that have been doing an expanded system like this for a number of years, I mean, they're upwards of 20 to 25% of all public safety calls they're responding to with what we're calling our care program. And so having data and having a sense of what that looks like for our community would be really helpful.
Thank you. Data will be tracked and provided, and we appreciate the support for the program.
All right, we've got a motion. Linda
I'm sorry.
and Josh. Here we go.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Item 65 is an exception to the procurement ordinance, competitive procurement requirements for good cause, and approving an agreement with Cure Violence Global for services related to the Cure Violence Program. Council Communication number 21-532.
I'm happy to move this item. You know, it's been almost 2 years since I think I put an item on the agenda to talk about Cure Violence and look at how we could bring that model to Des Moines. I'm appreciative of the fact that we've worked through, we did an assessment, we were very thoughtful and deliberative in how we look to bring this program here. This is only the first step, right? We've got a long way to go. We want to make this program work and make it be successful here. We know it can from the assessment. We know that we have gun violence issues in our community. We know that taking a public health and community-based approach can be successful, and we've got the partners in this community who I think can be successful partners in implementing an approach like this. And so I'm excited to build the capacity, to train the folks, to implement this model. I'll be watching closely to see the results, and I'm excited that we're finally taking the step and moving this forward. So I'll move item 65.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Item 66 is an agreement with Creative Visions for Cure Violence Program Implementation Services. Council Communication number 21-532.
I'm happy to move item 66. Oh.
Yeah, we've discussed that with Urban Dreams and Creative Visions. I think we landed in the right spot, so I'd be happy to move item 66.
I could.
Scott, would you like to make comment?
Yes, Mayor and council members, I do want to shout out to Creative Visions for their work on this proposal. It took a lot of time and effort. This is a new approach with the partnership aspect of this and bringing in the national partner of Cure Violence. So I really appreciate the hard work that's been put into this. Thank you.
Your Honor, that was 7 yes, motion carried.
All right, we're going to move to our request to speak. We have 2 this evening. You know, for those persons wishing to speak this evening under the speaking agenda, we will be calling on you. All speakers must comply with the rules regarding their names and ward and zip code. Each of the 2 speakers this evening will receive up to their 2 minutes, and please keep your own time, because at the end of the 2 minutes, the mic will be closed and we will move immediately to the next speaker. So, at any rate, our first speaker this evening is Adam Callanan.
Oh, thank you. My name is Adam Callanan. Live at 50309 Ward 3. I'm here again because we still need accessibility. Frankly, I'm kind of tired of being the person who up in here and say it, but the people who need to be listened to on this can't be here, which is the heart of the problem. Because first off, we need a virtual option. Just between accessibility generally, it really helps, and especially during COVID, a lot of people just cannot risk coming to these meetings. We also need ASL and translators and translated agendas and other materials. There's just a lot of things the city is failing to do, some of which it used to do, and I'm not sure why it stopped, but it did stop over the past year or 2. And I also want to point out that we could have paid for all that and more if we hadn't instead paid for around 14 SWAT cops to be in these meetings for the past few months, surveilling things and treating residents like threats, as well as the private security. It just shows the misplaced priorities of the city. And it also kind of gets back to what we mean when we say defund DMPD. We're talking about things they're spending way too much money on paying cops to do things that cops shouldn't be doing. We should be moving that to things like accessibility and providing things for residents instead. And I also want to point out that it's not just a factor of like moving money around, because the city is also actively ignoring accommodation requests for these meetings. And I really don't feel that public meetings are public when you exclude entire populations of people. I would also like to talk about the appointment today that was on the consent agenda. Dana Wingert was appointed to a joint services board. We weren't allowed to talk about it. It was considered non-controversial, even though DMPD has a lot of lawsuits against it right now. And council's been silent on a lot of those lawsuits since the recent ones came out, and we've been told it's for like legal reasons, you know, we don't want to say anything about it, which is weird because that tells me that the reaction to a problem becoming so bad that there's a lawsuit about it is to just like not address the problem at all, which is troubling. But also we see that council isn't really silent if they're appointing Dana Wingert to more things before dealing with the problem. We see that council is taking a stance, and it's to back up Dana Wingert more, back up DMPD more, give Dana Wingert more power. Because at the end of the day, we just know DMPD has too much power and is not enough checked, and that needs to change.
Next speaker is Garland Armstrong.
Good evening, Garland Armstrong at Ward 2 at 3728 Hubble Avenue. I'm just want you to know what happened last month, November 16th. Me and my wife was at Crochet Music at 3611 56th Street waiting for our paratransit for DART. And they're supposed, our pickup time was between 11:50 a.m. to 12:20 p.m. They didn't even show up on that time for our pickup because they said the system was completely down. I called them to tell them how many more minutes will the DART paratransit bus be coming. They haven't called me back, and I've been on them about 2 or 3 times, and they said they'll send the bus out available, and then I called over and over again just to make sure when is the estimated time of arrival for the bus, and they didn't even, and they said they'll have a bus available, and then when right before 2 o'clock, the paratransit came, and if it didn't come before 2 o'clock, we was going to cancel it and then take the bus home because my wife was in a power wheelchair. So I just want y'all to know about that, what happened on November 16th of last month. And if you have any comments or questions, I'll be glad to answer it for you since I was a former ADA Advisory Committee member of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Garland.
All right. Could we get a motion to receive and file comments from our speakers?
I'll move item 67. I'll move item 67A and B and receive and file.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none. Appreciate everybody's coming this evening. And that comes to the end of our agenda. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.